we had this idea, like how can we make like high intensity exercise easy for people?
You know, how do you give an exercise prescription to someone or develop a training study, which was kind of our ultimate goal in the long run.
We thought, like, how can we make the new environment friendly for these people that wants to exercise? We target that population because we know that little change, like, it's very effective to change their disease risk. And then she came with this idea, like, maybe why we don't use the stairs? Many people, they have access to stairs. Like here on campus, like how many stairs we have, like that people could just instead of taking the elevator.
We were just piloting the protocol of running up this flight of stairs as fast as we could, and then we used the climbing down the stairs as the recovery, and then when we got to the bottom of the stairs, we'd go right back up. And our goal with the acute study, or our little pilot, was to see what are the acute responses in terms of oxygen consumption and heart rate. And then COVID hit. We had to change our thinking and get more innovative with exercise prescription with the pandemic.
We put our minds to think, like, hey, we are in this situation, what can we do? We start thinking, what do you think about body weight exercise? Like,
that was our first goal, was to say, okay, let's develop a body weight HIIT protocol, but first see what the responses are in ourselves.
We observed that on doing body weight exercise, I'm going to have more benefits in terms of muscle development, muscle hypertrophy, that the treadmill would not give.
We hit what's considered like the sweet spot of high intensity interval training. This is a good thing because when you repeat that over time, you can improve things like your cardiorespiratory fitness, which is the biggest predictor of disease and death. You get both the aerobic stimulus, but then also the muscle strengthening stimulus, which is going to be more beneficial for your health in the long term. So our acute study kind of spiked our interest even more, as like, oh wow, this could be a really beneficial way of training. We're targeting adults with obesity at large age range from 18 to 55 years old. They also get body composition testing, a cardiorespiratory fitness test, a strength test, and then they get a Fitbit. And so with the Fitbit, they wear that for 3 days, just going about their regular physical activity levels. And then they start the home exercise program. It's 5 exercises, but there's 2 sets of the 5 exercises. And there's a modified version and a regular version of each exercise. Exercise number 1 is high knees. Then you can modify it by just marching in place. So essentially you're taking out the jump phase. After each exercise, you perform an active recovery. So in the active recovery intervals, you just step in place. We encourage participants to use their arms because then you're getting more of an aerobic stimulus there. Exercise number 2 is the scissor jack. This is one of my favorites. Your arms are basically moving up and down like you're raising the roof. Everyone raises the roof. The legs are going forward and back in the sagittal planes. You can modify again by just stepping in place. Exercise number 3 is the squat jump. You're getting deep into the squat if you can, so nice and low, but you're gonna add that jump if you can. Then the modified version would just be a regular air squat. Exercise number 4 would be the jumping lunges. You're gonna have one foot in front, the other foot in back, and the goal is that your knee is dipping straight down in the back. And then you would switch halfway through the interval to the other leg. So to modify this, you would just step back in place. The last exercise is the burpee. Go down into a plank position. You shoot your feet back to the plank position, then your feet come back to your hands, and then you jump at the top. You can modify this by stepping back in and taking out the jump, or you could have a chair and put your hands on the chair so that you're not having to go down to the floor.
Our take-home message from this study was, you don't need to invest on equipment. You don't need to buy a treadmill. You don't need to buy a bike. if you can dedicate 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes of your day for doing certain exercise, your heart, your lungs, your muscle, they need this.
I always try to think about like, how are we helping these people? And they're actually learning how to exercise and how to gauge their intensity of exercise with this program, I think, I hope.